Look at this next slide. Here's what's going on. New York Times, March 19th. That's not very long ago. It says the Bloomberg administration said Friday the number of people living on New York streets and subways soared 34%, signaling a setback in one of the city's most intractable problems. And the Commissioner of Homeless Services said, and now we're seeing the devastating effect of this unprecedented poor economy on our streets as well. And so we're seeing people pushed out onto the streets, not because of drug addicts, not because they're mentally ill, just because they've lost their job, they've lost their home, they have nowhere else to go. The shelters are packed, the budgets are being slashed, programs are being closed down, and that's where we're at. And the truth is, the city has no idea what to do with this problem. Government is coming to the end of themselves. It's enormous. But here's the deal. Even if government had all the money, trillions and trillions of dollars, in order to provide every single resource that the homeless and poor needed, it still wouldn't be enough, because the truth is that the problems are so deep inside of people that throwing money at it and resources at it, it does not solve the problem. Does it help? Yes. Does it matter? Yes, it does. But yet there's something inside that's keeping people out on the streets, because many times homeless people are provided homes and they leave their homes and they go back out. They're provided shelter and they leave the shelter and they choose to go back out, because it's not about just the outer issue in their life. The people on our staff, who Bob mentioned a minute ago, and the volunteers that come out on the relief bus, I just want to say this one word. This is what I think of them. They're heroes. They're heroes. When you think of 9/11 and the people running into burning buildings, heroes, that's what I think of them. Most of the neighborhoods the relief bus goes to in Harlem and the Bronx and Brooklyn and Manhattan, those are areas that people go out of their way to drive way around. And if they have to go through that neighborhood, they roll the windows up and they lock the doors. The relief bus rolls into there week after week, and we open the doors and we invite people, will you come in? Will you come in and be with us? We love you. We want to get to know you. Let's go somewhere together. As you can see, there's no lack of people who need help on the streets. There's a lot of hungry people out there. The lines get long sometimes. The next slide shows a lot of people lining up just for clothing. But the truth is, even if we gave them enough food and enough clothing, there's still a greater need that's inside. I know that when someone's addicted to crack for 20 years, when someone's addicted to heroin for 30 years, when someone's mentally ill and they're taking medication and it's not working, we come to the end of ourselves. Our programs that we're connecting people to. What do you say to someone when they've been through 10 programs, when they've been through 20 programs? That's when we know there is only one hope. There is only one possibility of turning this person's life around and bringing life transformation. And it's one word I'm going to give you. It's G-O-D. It's God. There must be a higher power. Because if counseling doesn't work, if programs don't work, well, guess what? We're left with the only answer that really ever worked anyway. It's the same answer that my mom and dad found when they were addicted to alcohol and drugs, when their minds were clouded by darkness, when they had no hope. It's the same answer for people on the streets. Well, I have good news for you tonight. You are God's answer. You are God's answer to the poor and the homeless. You are the greatest resource that God has to reach them, to change them, to impact them. It's you. You're an incredible tool in the hand of God. And the 20 years you've been coming out on the bus, and the 4 million servings of food you gave out, and the 140,000 people that we helped and connected to resources, that was because of you. Our little staff of 13 people or whatever, we couldn't do that on our own. It's only because of people who love, people who care, people who get out of their house and make time for those who are hurting. Well, I want to end with a story. Is that okay? I lived in Dallas, Texas when this organization was birthed 20 years ago. I was out on the streets walking around looking for homeless people because I felt that God had told me to go and reach out. I didn't know what to do. I had no script. I had no great plan. I knew that there was and so I'd make sandwiches with my small college, kid budget, and I'd make bologna and cheese sandwiches, and I'd make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that's what I ate, so I figured they could stomach it. And I would take out these sandwiches, and I'd just hand them out and feed people. And I had the most amazing encounters that were just changing me and rocking my world. Well, one day I found a mission, and they had a shelter. And a homeless person could stay in that shelter overnight for $5. For $5, they could get a shower, a hot meal, they could get prayer, they could get love. And I always thought that was weird, like, why did they charge them $5? But they had a strategy to encourage these men to work, because there was jobs available, and just to work even a little, to build their self-esteem, to get on their feet. And so I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if I could pave the way? $5, hey, I'm not rich, but I've got $5. In fact, one day I was walking around the city, and that's all I had, $5. And I said, God, wouldn't you give me one person? And I was walking all over downtown Dallas, and I couldn't find anyone. And then finally, from far off, I was coming back around to this tiny brick mission, tiny, and leaning against the wall, weeping uncontrollably, was a scraggly, unkempt, homeless man. And I saw him far off, and he was heaving, he was sobbing, there's tears pouring down his face. And I was like, whoa. And so I began running towards him. And I came up close and I said, what's wrong? What's going on? And he was weeping and sobbing, and he couldn't speak intelligibly. I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I said, can I help you? I said, I've got $5. Could I pay your way into this mission tonight? You can get a shower, some food. And out of his tears, and as I saw me, he said, I was just praying for someone to help me stay here tonight. I want you to know there's homeless people right now out living in the subway, in abandoned buildings, in their cars, and they're praying right now, God, won't you send someone? Won't you send someone? I need help, God. I don't know what to do. I can't find a job. I don't know how to get back on my feet. Won't you send someone? Well, the relief bus is your trip to be that someone. And it's been the trip for over 40,000 volunteers over this 20 years. To be that someone, to be the answer to those people's prayers. This picture up on the screen is me and a man named Carmelo. This is Tremont Park in the Bronx. I got to, a couple weeks ago, walk around the park and looked at where the homeless people were living in the park. And I walked outside of the park and I met Carmelo immediately, and he told us, I live in this park. This is where I live. And so Steve Pastor and I, we prayed for him. We said, can we pray? Steve said, can we pray for you? He said, yeah, that'd be great. And so we laid hands and we prayed for him. We loved on him. And as we concluded that prayer, we said, can we help you? Can we get you in a program? Can we help you get off the streets? And he said, I'm going in a detox tomorrow. I'm scheduled. And Steve said, can we get you from detox into a program where you can disciple and get built up? And so he gave him information. And as we're walking to the relief bus, here's what he said, and this is what I'm going to say to you, that he said, I'm going to pass it along. He said, thank you guys. Thank you for coming to help me. And thank you for coming to help the people in the streets. He said, actually, thank you for coming to help my people on the streets. And so I want to say tonight to you, thank you. We couldn't do it without you, and we're grateful. God bless you.